talking about it, trying to wake and all the stuff that they're talking about. One of the headlines I saw recently had to do with just that. And is anyone surprised? Of course not, because we're coming close to 2030. And as we get closer to 2030, they need to figure out ways to get people excited about 6G. And it's not about sales. You know, people out there, they'll always be like, hey, you know, it's about making a buck. These guys just really want to make money off you however they possibly can. No, it's a little bit deeper than that. And anybody that thinks that the goals and the things that they want have to do with money, well, think again. It has to do with total control, including being able to control and manipulate your DNA. And that's a lot for people to wrap their heads around. But sadly, it is the truth. And here's a headline I want to read to you. It says 6G, unlike recent Gs, might actually excite consumers. The ability to do sensing could justify describing the forthcoming 6G mobile standard as a generational breakthrough. So this article talks about how the same stuff that I've been saying, but they're talking about it from a completely clueless technology standpoint, whereas I've been talking about it trying to wake people up. I've emphasized that nobody saw a difference between 4 and 5G. Yet we allowed the government, aka the businesses or the corporations, I should say, to put these towers up all around us to tell us, well, we don't really know the harms or the dangers of it. And everybody out there just went along with it and then didn't see any difference in the speed of their phone. They weren't downloading faster. And people are going, yeah, I don't really know. Because when you bring this to people's attention, they go, yeah, I don't really know the difference. And they're already talking about 6G. So the article headline is saying, well, we have to have things pretty much that are going to excite consumers. And this might actually excite consumers. And this is the paragraph I want to read to you. Then I want to show you something that I just saw on Nokia's YouTube channel. Okay? It says, but the third 6G breakthrough may hold the potential to be a big thing. It would effectively give a sensing capability to base stations and user devices, enabling radio signals to feel out the size and shape of any unconnected object, even figure it out what it's made from or of. There are sinister military applications. But sensing could also be used in healthcare to ping medical staff if someone vulnerable falls and is inert in their home. So listen to the wording there, how they're talking about an object, right? Oh, it's going to have the capability to sense objects, enabling radio signals to feel out the size and shape of any unconnected object, even figure out what it's made from. Then it says sinister military applications, because that's really a word I should use more, because I talk about these people being psychopaths. They're sinister. These people are sick, like their father, the devil. And it goes on to say after that, right, where we're talking about figuring out the size of an unconnected object. It'll be able to sense, using sensors, what the object is. Then it just casually goes into healthcare. Of course it does, because that's exactly how they're going to market this. It goes into healthcare and it pings medical staff if someone vulnerable falls in their home, aka the object that the sensor is inside of is the human being. And you might remember that famous saying, right, or that scene that's famous from The Matrix, as well as what I recently showed a couple years ago at the World Economic Forum, where they said by 2030, cell phones would no longer be in your hand, it would be in your body. Are you able to connect the dots with these two?
What is the Matrix? Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
Future, you will have such a good digital twin that you'll be able to go into the metaverse, into a virtual reality world, turn a dial, pull a switch, feel around, and actually change it in the real plant?
Absolutely. And this is not far off. I mean, the physical and the digital worlds, they will grow together, and the result is exactly what you just said.
I wanted to ask when you all think we're going to move from this form factor to something that's on your face, glasses, and when computing's all on the edge.
All right, 50 seconds. Who wants to answer quickly?
I think it will go. It will. First of all, it will definitely happen. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface.
Wow.
Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
6G will liberate human potential. Transform the way we live, the way we work, connecting human worlds, physical worlds with digital worlds. And that will unleash new human possibilities.
So literally, they're talking about right here, what you just saw, okay, the plan all along with Agenda 2030 is to get this inside you. It'll tie into your carbon footprint. It'll tie into your status as far as having poison inside your body that the government makes sure you continually get, so that your body is obviously working the way that it wants it to work when it's hooked up to technology, because you'll have nanotechnology inside of you. Is that making sense to you? If it's not, maybe just take a minute and go over to my podcast and make sure you create an account, you sign up over on my podcast, which is on Spotify or Podbean at the moment, okay? Create a free account and subscribe so you can learn more about this, because guess what? This is banned on YouTube. If you're new to all this stuff, it's banned. So going into deep detail about getting this technology inside of your body and eventually controlling you and hooking, it's all banned. It's a reason that people get thrown off the internet over and over again, specifically on YouTube. So I'll try to talk about it. Well, I won't try. I will talk about it on the website, and I will talk about it over on my podcast. So subscribe if you want to learn what's really going on, or if you want to stay at the same little bit of truth that these ear ticklers give you about the magic potion being here to wipe off the population. Doing more than that. Okay, it's taking in some people, and some people don't even realize that they're hooked up to the network. You see how it works? Well, again, if you don't, join the podcast. So listen to this wording again. Let me just reemphasize after hearing that, and I want to show you this video I found on Nokia's YouTube channel, which has important stuff, because we're talking about, when they talk about connecting you, they're talking about the physical realm and the spiritual realm, okay? They don't tell you that it's the spiritual realm because they don't want you to think any further than technology is just technology. They don't want you to think that demonic possession, demons, and these types of things are real. But nobody understands how technology works. They get these things sent to their phone. Nobody understands. Just like, I don't know. I don't know what a frequent, I have no idea. It's these guys are paid to do that, not me. And then they use words like the physical human and the digital worlds. This is the video clip I wanted to show you that is sitting over on Nokia's YouTube channel. Look at all the stuff in there about transforming human beings, and then look at the key words that they use that we hear on a day-to-day basis with our government, where they talk about inclusively, sustainability, right? Equity, and then things like knowledge, purpose, all mind control. This is mind control at its worst. Look at this clip from Nokia. So again, what Nokia is telling you, even in the beginning of that, they're saying in 2030, 6G arrives, right? They even show you the hives. Did you notice the hives in the beginning of that clip, right? Looks like a pentagram, it's five-sided thing. They're showing you a hive. They even had it orange for a reason on the screen, because they're showing you it, because it's going to create a hive mind of human beings who are controllable humans through technology, right? So again, they showed you physical human, and they did the all-seeing eye conveniently, and then physical human and digital worlds. And nobody who's Christian thinks anything further than that. But like, oh, it's, they're talking about digital twins and augmenting reality, literally living in a different dimension, but they don't think about the spiritual realm and the physical realm, which is all biblical. And that's what this is. It's a deception. Just like I talk about with aliens and demons, right? Demons are real. But if you ask 99 out of 100 people, they're more likely to believe that an alien is real than a demon. And Aleister Crowley talked about that, how they were going to rename demons into aliens in the future. It's part of the deception. So that commercial to me is absolutely spot on with the stuff I talk about how they market and they manipulate people into this type of technology. If they used wording like spiritual realm, people would be pretty freaked out. But since it's the digital realm, they're convinced that it's something safe. They're connecting, right? What do you think they're talking about? They're connecting you, right? They always say stuff like that, connecting you. They're literally connecting you, right? Go back to that clip I showed you about you being a battery. Remember, humans are conductors of energy, right? You being a battery and being able to have this technology inside of you and it'll run through, you'll energize, do you get it yet? Okay, most of you do get it, but we have to keep tabs on how this gets marketed to the public. So back to that article that I was reading, they were talking about the sensors being inside the body. If somebody falls in their home, healthcare can ping medical staff. It could alert drivers to the location of an available parking space. Another way that they're going to use this, little things that people don't even need, but they go along with, right? Like we started with even allowing the government, which was such a mistake by human beings, but it shows you in today's society, like if you brought out a map to somebody, a road map, their head would explode. They'd be like, what is that? And if you actually told them, use a road map to go from here 2 miles somewhere that I want you to go that you've never been before, they wouldn't be able to use it. They don't even know what a map is. What? I don't know how to use this thing. Everyone's so used to doing it on their phone, right? They've indoctrinated you and desensitized you to being so dependent on the phone that, again, you won't be able to live without. That's that line. Everybody looked at Leave the World Behind. That was the thing, the line in the movie that stood out to me the most. It was when he said he can't do anything without his phone. He can't survive without his phone. He doesn't want to get any answers without his phone. That's the society we're living in now. And they did that by design, right? So we allowed, them to start doing GPS, and people were like, whoa, in the beginning. You ever see the movie Enemy of the State with Will Smith and Gene Hackman? It's a movie from the 90s. They were talking about then, of course, that was predictive programming about the cell phones and tracking with the cell phones and all that stuff. And people were like, whoa, we're never going to let the government do that. And of course, that's how desensitizing works. Look where we're at now. We let the government do everything. Our technology does it all. In fact, when GPS first came out, people weren't even, at first they were like, I don't really need this. I'll use MapQuest. There was other ways to get directions. And now if you ask somebody, they couldn't live without it. Need GPS to go. And they're like, well, it's an easier way to get places. Well, it is easier. I'll give you that. It is. But you're giving up your rights. You're literally giving the government your location at all times. And then people go, well, I don't really care. What's the government going to do? What do they care what I'm doing? Oh, they care. And you'll see soon enough that they care. Because when you're on an allotted time, you'll get allotted time. You'll give them all these rights over you because you'll say the government doesn't care about me. And once those rights are gone and once you're inundated with the technology and you realize what the carbon footprint is, you won't be allowed to go anywhere. So you might be like, well, my political opinion agrees with the Communist Party, so they'll let me do what I want. Oh, no, you get a little bit of time. So, you get about an hour a week to go outside your home like a prisoner. And the government will be tracking you and pinging you and probably shutting your body off if you don't go back to your home because you'll have technology inside of you. So I talked recently about wearable technology and how we've gone from wearable and we'll be going into the body. But the key thing that I'm reading to you in this, again, is how they're wording stuff marketing-wise. Well, we have to get people excited about 6G. So what are some of the things that they'll do? Well, health. Health is the key to this. Meanwhile, the majority of human beings don't even realize it's your own government who's poisoning you. They're poisoning in the sky, in your food, you name it, psychologically poisoning you, right? And then, of course, people go, well, we'll get a cure for these diseases with this type of technology when it goes in our body. Well, how convenient. Sounds like problem, reaction, solution, doesn't it? When the government comes in and tells you that, oh, well, you'll have this health device inside of you. Like, they'll say it's like a pacemaker. They'll be like, well, if this inside you, something happens to you. They'll be there right then and there, right? This is obviously to lure older people, but younger people hear stuff like, hey, being able to find an empty parking location for you, because that's too hard for them. As we know, they've done this deliberately, dumbed them down, spoiled them with technology where they don't have to turn their lights on anymore in their home without Alexa doing it for them. I mean, God forbid they try to find a parking place on their own. Well, thankfully, according to these big tech guys, it could alert drivers to the location of available parking spots. So those sound like ridiculous reasons for people to go along with 6G, but it will be, and it will work. And again, you can think back on how we started with cell phones and where we're at now, the dependency from then, the dependency to now. So again, some of the stuff you got to look at, like that headline said right here, about how to excite consumers, but at the same time, it tells you that the sinister military applications. And these are the same things that are likely be inside your body, connecting you, right? Connecting you, turning you into that old battery, because that's what it's all about. That is what it's all about. So I just want to do a video on that. and show people out there again when they talk about the physical world and the digital world. They're talking about the physical realm that we're in and the spiritual realm and turning them into one, combining them. Okay, you will no longer be human with this type of technology inside of you because they will change and alter your genetic code. That's all I can say here, folks. But make sure you subscribe to the podcast. I did a pretty good episode. I've done 2 so far, about 45 minutes each. You can, if you like listening to my content, you can listen to it while you're doing chores, listen to the car. I talk pretty much like I talk to you on here, like you're my friends, which is what I consider everybody here, not fans, friends. We're all like-minded people. Especially I really appreciate the people who have stuck around all these years and gone through the headache of going through about 75 channels to be able to keep listening to my content. So I figure the podcast is a good place for people. If I get banned here, I can go over there and tell you where I am. It's a good spot to be. I don't want to go to Twitter, okay? Because I guarantee if I'm on Twitter, and everyone knows I'm on Twitter, and I'm talking about the people that stalk me and follow my every move, and I say where I'm going next, they will just retweet it right to Twitter, right to YouTube, and that'll be a problem. So what I can do is I can do the podcast. I can speak freely. So that's another alternative for people who don't want to join the website. I recommend you do join the website, especially, the event in Pennsylvania with the guy getting his head cut off. His father's, the guy cuts his father's head off, does a YouTube video holding it up. I mean, we're talking about, I don't know what to say anymore, how bad these psyops are, right? And then you go, let me guess. Oh, right. Conspiracy theorist wants to start an uprising. They might have based the whole character off of me. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not really popular anymore, so I doubt it. But, I can't really, be able to help people out and understand what's happening because they don't let me. But they might have based the character off me in some ways. I don't know. It's just really bad. So that's over on the website that you could check out. Again, you could find the website in the community tab pretty often. I'll leave it there and then I take it down. I can't say it in here. I won't. And you can find my podcast. You could just search my name in Spotify and in Podbean for now, and I'll work on getting on Apple Podcasts as well. And the reason, even though I get it that these are, liberal programs, Apple, I don't want to be along for the ride. I'm not going there to be along for the ride with Google either. It's where you could reach people, lots of people who are dead asleep to all this stuff, right? And just like you saw in that video clip, I'm showing the hive. Well, we're talking about me going into the hive mind and trying to pull people out of this matrix they're living in, realize what's going on. So hope to see you over there. Thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all well. God bless you as always and your families.